All right, I'd like to call the August 16th, 2022 City of Bloomington Board of Public Safety meeting to order.
Recording in progress.
Thank you. May I have certification of the executive session we just held?
You just certify it.
Oh, I'm certifying it.
Yeah.
I am certifying it, great. May I have a motion to move into the police department business, CERT ARV deployment report?
We had no
I-
deployments.
Oh, no, I'm moving to move it up
Oh,
in
okay.
the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So
In a
moved.
second.
Yeah. Second.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
All right. Isak,
Yeah, in favor. Aye.
Mukweba,
Yes.
Natalia,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Shruti.
Yes.
All right. Do I have a motion to move the certification of payroll additionally within police department business in today's agenda?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call vote?
All right. Isak,
Aye.
Mukweba,
Yes.
Natalia,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Yeah.
Shruti.
Yes.
Motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the July 19th, 2022 meeting?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will vote by roll call.
All right. Isak,
Yes.
Mukweba,
Yes.
Natalia,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Shruti.
Yes.
Motion carries. Police Department business.
I will start with the report of monthly statistics. I'm going to have Deputy Chief Oldham report out on that.
For the month, there were 4,645 calls. You will see that across the board as a rise, as is most other things, coming off a year where we had COVID for the entire year. So you're going to see some increases in most of the categories. Likewise, you see an arrest in, actually decrease in adult arrests. They dropped down to 142, but juvenile referrals did go up. That was mostly due to a couple of specific cases where juveniles were charged with multiple offenses. As you look through the rest of your packet, you can see the nuisance call breakdown, as well as you can see the breakdown for the generic categories of crimes against property, crimes against society, crimes against persons. Each of those either stayed the same or rose moderately. You've got further breakdowns in the rest of your packet if there's any specific questions on those.
Any questions?
No, Deputy Chief.
If there's no questions, we'll move on to letters of appreciation and commendation. We have none. And we had none for the month, zero for the month for the police department.
All right. General business.
Next is general business, and I'll have Captain Pedigo kind of just brief you on the hiring processes, since we're still
Currently 24 officers short out of our funded 105. Over the past week and a half, we did have 2 officers that did leave for other agencies. I believe one went to Fishers PD and one to Columbus Police Department. I do have an upcoming open hiring process on August 27th. It's a Saturday morning, starts at about 7:45 a.m. I've sent probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 invites of people that have submitted a preliminary application. Obviously, we never have anywhere close to 100% turnout for those that have submitted an application, but this would include any applicant that has submitted a preliminary app since the last open process, which was last year. So hopefully we'll have a good turnout for that process. I've been really trying to push it on social media and through word of mouth, our website, things like that. The law enforcement job board. We have had a pretty significant show of interest, and we're really trying to push the new initiatives that the city has allowed us to offer to try and get some quality applicants. I am currently, right now, we have one applicant who I submitted his information to the state approximately a week ago. Hope to hear back soon from their acceptance into PERF. And then hopefully we can get that hired, that applicant hired. That applicant is already certified in Indiana, so would not need to attend the academy. There's also 4 other certified applicants that are currently in backgrounds. So there's a pretty significant, several months left in their hiring process, but we're trying to move those along as quickly as we can to try and get them on as well if they end up meeting our standards. I think that the chief and the deputy chief would agree that we maintain high standards and we will not dip below those, but we do have some pretty quality candidates this time, so we're excited about that.
Any questions about that?
I'm curious about, so August 27th, do you already have like a significant amount of people that have signed up to come?
Yeah, so the way that it works is they're directed to our website where they just submit a preliminary application, just gives things such date, age, email address, things like that. It does ask basic questions such as have you been convicted of a felony, which would obviously would eliminate them from consideration, but whether or not they're already a certified officer. And then it now has a field also where it asks if they have been referred to apply by a current BPD employee. That is one of the incentives that we were able to offer to current employees, where if they refer someone that ends up making it through the process and being hired, there is an incentive for that. I'm sorry.
So would you say it's like over 50 applicants, or?
I'm guessing that I've probably sent somewhere in the neighborhood of 250 emails to people, but these would be anyone who has applied since the last open process last year.
Okay.
But we have seen a very, I would say, a significant number of applicants that have applied since we've tried to really start pushing out the new initiatives that the city has put into place. So I am hopeful that we'll have a good turnout on Saturday.
Okay.
I'm curious, is there a special platform for recruitment of law officers? Like like a LinkedIn for law enforcement? Is there?
Not really. Although we did purchase some software, which we're still in the process of trying to get implemented. It's taken a little bit of time to integrate the questions we want asked, but it will use artificial intelligence to basically text back and forth with an applicant, answer a lot of their questions, and they go into a database in which I can send mass text, which part of the problem that we run into is people use their email, they provide it, and that we try and make it as clear as we can that all correspondence will go through email, and then people don't check their email. So they aren't made aware of the fact, and I simply can't go through and text 250 individual people, but this new software will allow us to send out mass text to all applicants. It will also allow us to create our own texting number that we're going to probably put on the rear of the squad cars, and it'll be like the things that you see everywhere, like text 24568 for more information on how to become an officer with Bloomington Police. So we're hopeful that will get us some more applicants interested as well. Our cars are constantly photographed. If anytime media is on a scene or anything like that, our cars are there. I want to blast these numbers out and make them visible to people. So we're hopeful that we'll see some success out of that.
When will that software be available?
I don't know the answer to that. The last meeting we had with them, they're in the final stages so that they can take our data that we already have and basically it's just a spreadsheet right now, so that they can dump all of that data into and make it work with their software to make sure we don't miss anyone that's in the process right now or that's shown interest. I'm hopeful that it'll be within the next month. They did indicate that it would be within this current hiring process that we are starting on the 27th, that they would take that data, put it into their system, and then I could use things such as mass text and send out bulk information to the applicants through their software.
So the intent is to use this going forward?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We will eventually, this will probably be the last process that we solely rely on our current process of sending people to our website, and we will rely solely on this going forward. So, yeah, I'm excited about it.
Makes sense.
Hopefully it'll help us get some people and get some information out there about the agency and hopefully get some more people that are interested.
Of this generation.
Yes. Yeah, it's all basically text-based.
Is the software specifically for police departments, or is it
It's public safety. I believe you can I think you can do fire through it as well. I can't swear to that. The only people we talked about, yeah. The only people we talked, their trucks are too big. They probably don't. The only people that we talked to were on the law enforcement side of the house, so I don't know about big red trucks.
And you have full access to the back end as well, or?
Well, we wouldn't have access to like proprietary. I'm sure that
Rather,
there's.
what I mean is if people are texting, you can always go in and see what's actually happening there, so the bot's not having conversations if you can't see.
Yes, and then eventually it gets to a point to where if they answer like no to a couple different questions, then it automatically sends them an option of would you like to be contacted by a member of the agency? And if they say yes, then it automatically notifies me,
Awesome.
and then we'll have someone get in contact with them as soon as we can.
And-
I did put a restriction on it because I said, I'm sorry, I don't want 2 a.m. phone calls coming
Right,
from
exactly.
an applicant, but I'll call them back the next morning.
And what's the I mean, the cost? I mean, is it a long-term contract or is it just a?
No, it's just,
Subscription type of
there's an
thing?
annual setup fee, and I don't remember exactly what it is.
It's not a lot.
No, and then there's an annual fee to use the software, but it's,
And no concerns about their data policies or anything like that?
no, they're completely vetted, they're good.
Awesome.
All righty.
I
Purchase.
have a quick question about, about the officers that we lost to Columbus and Fishers. Did we do like an exit interview, like to know, exactly why they're leaving, and maybe that's something, with the budget process, I'm sure you're shaping, if we need to have additional asks for the department, in that regard?
So there's a new contract that goes into effect January 1 where the officers are getting a significant raise. We took a pot of about $250,000 and put it into incentive packages such as signing bonuses, housing incentives, rental assistance, to try to just sweeten the pot more. And so that's something we're doing now. And the contract takes effect in January, so it's already been, we've looked at it for budgetary purposes so that we can pay better. A lot of people who have left departments where they're paying more than we have paid, but we're hoping that will slow down a lot and maybe kind of change course with the new contract.
And on January 1st, so our existing officers will also see that increase then?
I'm sorry?
Existing officers.
Well, like our existing officers too, like?
Yes.
Is that just for new hires, so the
No.
existing ones will also see that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Great. And then I don't know if this is the right time to mention it, but especially in light of the missing child from yesterday, I know that there were no letters that were sent, but I was on social media, I was following all those pages, and just so many good things were said about our officers and the department diligence, with situations like that. We were all just kind of watching to, hoping for the best for those kind of situations. So even though we didn't get any letters, I saw them on social media, saying really, really great things about the department. Just work on that in particular.
All right, thank you.
All right, purchases, expenditures, and procurements.
Should have
Anything?
received information about large radio purchase. I think it was for around $60,000 where we're replacing our portable radios for the officers. So that should have been in the packet.
All right. On to personnel issues, promotions.
So we
Can we go from
did.
general?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
It's okay. Go ahead.
So we kind of touched on just where we're at with being 24 officers down. So there's that part. But for promotions, I need this computer again. I'll start off with mayoral appointments. The mayor appointed, who was Captain Scott Oldham, to deputy chief. So Scott started in that role about a week or two ago.
Congratulations.
And this is, you know Scott. With Scott's promotion, left a vacancy for operations captain, and the mayor appointed Mick Williams, who is back here, as the operations captain, so I want to introduce him to you.
Sorry, Nick, can you raise your hand again?
Can you come into the light where it's less?
Coming from night shift, so coming into the light.
Sounds weird to me.
Congratulations, you two.
Congratulations.
And then how do you want to do do you want me to read that, or do you want to do it, or?
So the executive session was held and the officers and new candidates were discussed, and the board is prepared to make motions on what was discussed in executive session.
Okay.
Exactly, but we do want to thank you, the two that were recognized for your promotions. All righty. Can I get a motion to extend a conditional offer of employment as a sworn officer to Rick Cruzen, contingent upon his successful completion of the remaining steps of the hiring process?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Can you have them stand up so we can see?
Oh,
He-
we'll
he's not
have
here.
them stand up
Okay.
after,
Yeah.
if he's in, yeah, after.
But each one would be good because I don't.
Yeah,
We'll do that.
yeah.
We're gonna have an opportunity after you're done with your motion.
After
to
each one.
Stand up and have a moment.
Okay.
So hearing none, we will vote by roll call.
All right, Isak,
Yes.
McQuiba,
Yes.
Natalia,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes,
Shruti.
Yes.
that motion carries. And Rick is not here?
He's not here.
Okay. Please pass along our congratulations to him, okay? All right, can I get a motion to promote Officer First Class Jacob Hunter to the rank of Senior Patrol Officer, effective August 22nd?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I would just like to say, I don't think that Officer Hunter should ever leave Bloomington again. He stay in Bloomington forever. Thank you.
We second that too. Hearing none, we will vote by roll call.
Okay, Isak,
Yes.
McQuiba,
Yes.
Natalia,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes,
Shruti.
Yes.
that motion carries.
Is he here?
Officer, are you here?
He's not here either.
Oh,
He works nights.
He has to
Okay.
work the
pass on our thanks again.
Congratulations.
May I get a motion to promote Senior Patrol Officer Amy Ramoser to the rank of Sergeant, effective August 22nd, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Thank you for your 19 years, right? 19 years of
September.
service. Congratulations.
Okay.
She is here.
Hearing none, we will vote, well, let's vote first. Hearing none, we will vote by roll call.
All right, Isak,
Absolutely yes.
McQuiba,
Yes.
Natalia,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes,
Shruti.
Yes.
that motion carries.
She is here.
And we would love to have you.
Oh.
Good job. Come on over.
Come on up.
You want to give a speech?
I actually did. Now you tell us what you No, I'm not a public speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to serve the community more.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All righty. Can I get a motion to promote Sergeant Sean Hines to the rank of Lieutenant, effective August 22nd, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Are they here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hearing none, we will vote by roll call.
Isak,
Yes.
McQuiba,
Yes.
Natalia,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes,
Shruti.
Yes.
that motion carries. Congratulations, Sean.
I know. I feel like-
Stay there. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
service. This is the fun part of our job, by the way.
Just want to say thanks to everybody, the department, to the board. Also, my family that's here. My father, he served 27 years, Terre Haute Police Department, and still serving as a SRO. So, trying to follow in his footsteps. So, thank you.
That's your father with the Hines?
Yeah, right here.
No.
That's Robert Hines, and that's my mother.
Aw.
Yeah.
Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah, and to my wife, Cassandra. Good thing I'm working nights now.
All right. Can I get a motion to promote Senior Patrol Officer Michael Baker to the rank of Sergeant effective August 22nd, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Thank you so much for standing up.
Hearing none, we will vote by roll call.
All right, Isa,
Yes.
McQueba,
Yes.
Natalia,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes,
Trudy.
Yes.
Congratulations.
that motion carries.
I read all the nice things you guys said about all of them. Good in the order, but. Is there anything you'd like to say?
I would just like to thank the admin for putting me in a position to be able to lead officers at DPD. I also want to thank some people who helped put me in the position that I am in now. I don't want to name any names, but I will name one, Sean Hines. And Josh Taylor. We're all partners in the detective division. And so I'm proud to be able to get promoted to Sean, and glad to see Josh Taylor here. He got promoted to the lieutenant. So I just appreciate everything everybody's done for me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think we're on to fire department business.
Sierra,
sure.
the-
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Search.
We had no CERT deployments.
You let the cat out of the
Or
bag
no,
early.
yeah, no,
Okay.
no vehicle deployments either, so.
Okay,
I was curious.
Can I also validate payroll? 'Cause-
Validate payroll, yeah.
yeah, and payroll.
And yes, I validate that too.
Did we have any general, did we do general business already?
Yes.
Oh, I missed it. I'm sorry. But I had a quick question.
Sure.
From my, my background, I'm just curious about how has been the social worker's background right now, the police officer, social worker? I know we kind of glazed over it, which I see it here, but I'm just curious about a couple of the things that been going on, like number 4, attending the National Organization for Black Law Enforcement. I'm just curious
Yeah,
about
so-
how was that?
So we, Melissa Stone and I attended the Noble Conference
Right,
a
okay.
couple of weeks ago. And we were asked to present on our police social worker program. And so it was probably the worst time slot that you could get. It was like 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, but we had about 50 people there. So that was pretty encouraging. And so a lot of questions about how we did things, how we set it up. We've had a few people reach out. One department in Illinois wants to, they're going to start their own program. They want to send somebody over to shadow ours to see how we do things. So it's been very successful. We have our own conference again. We did one last year. That's going to be held at the beginning of November in Indianapolis.
Okay.
And we're also presenting at the International Association of Chiefs of Police International Conference when is that? That's in October, about police social worker programs. So.
And I wanted to acknowledge that because I know there's back and forth about social workers, where should they be, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that it was started essentially here, I mean, it led the way, and I think that it's important to recognize that. So I wanted to bring attention to that. So thank you. That was all I had for general business.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're free to go.
Now fire department business.
Thank you all.
Tough act to follow.
Bye.
Congratulations.
Well, we'll let you have the whole.
As the room empties, right?
Department photos now.
Good luck.
Thanks, Amy.
You need some.
proud.
I know.
Congratulations.
We talked about this, about going first.
I know, that's why you guys have to go first.
Yeah,
We try to put
yeah.
the CRT stuff at the end.
Yeah.
You know.
This will be a rather intimate meeting. amongst us. All right, we'll wait for you.
Are we closing this?
All right, for operational statistics, through July, we've had 2,643 calls in the city limits, 360 additional calls at Indiana University. 39% of those calls are rescue and EMS. Next slide, please. For the Indiana University, like I said, we've had 360 calls the year to date. 71% of those are false alarm type calls. We did have a significant event. We had a house fire on July 23rd of this year as well.
Was anyone harmed?
No, our crews did a great job, and they do what they do. They came there and they put the fire out really quickly.
Good.
So, yeah. And to add on to that, so response time and goals. The one that is kind of the gold standard is the 480 seconds. That's what we're judged many times by the ISO rating. We're reaching that, as you can see, almost all the time. What that means is total response force means from your first engine until your last arriving unit. So it usually is 2 engines and a ladder truck and also a command vehicle. So we're doing a nice job, and that's one of the reasons why we're an ISO 1. So we're maintaining that pretty well. Prevention and public engagement statistics. Through July, we're at 38% of our inspection goal process. Our public engagement statistics, I think one of the things is that I look at and it jumps out is 2022 versus 2021. We're well ahead of with children educated and then also adults educated. So we're doing a nice job of getting out in the public eye and educating folks. So that's a good marker for us. It's nice to see. And the inspection goals, I think one of the things that we're looking at is hiring another deputy fire marshal next year. We hired one this year, and we've really seen a lot of progress in getting out in the community and making sure the buildings are safe for restaurants and also commercial buildings. So training and education. As you can see, we had a little bit of a drop off for July. A lot of that had to do with for 2 weeks we were dealing with the death in the fire department family, and so for 2 weeks we were standing up for funeral details and some other things. So it's really self-explanatory, and I expect that to come back up as well. So letters of appreciation. We do have some. Would you like me to read these?
Sure.
Okay.
Only the ones that you can. This one is definitely a fine cursive.
Yeah. Dear Bloomington Fire Department, this is dated July 11th. Thank you for sending a crew and a fire truck to our 27th annual Hyde Park neighborhood for the crew. 4th of July parade, we had a great turnout, and the families and kids always love seeing the truck and talking to the firefighters. Sincerely, Kathy and Doug McCoy. We have another letter here. This one I really like a lot because I know Mr. Baldwin very well. Bloomington firefighters, you are my heroes. Seriously, when you show up time and time again to lean in like you do, I'm lifted with such gratitude. So we had a couple others. Laura Blaker, thank you so much for helping set up and tear down tables. We always appreciate how willing all of you are to help. And then from Leslie, we always appreciate your help with our events. We can't have success without your help. Thank you so much. And our firefighters do. They set up the tables and they tear them down and put them away. And if you've been to those events before, there's a lot of chairs and tables.
Yeah.
So our guys, our people do a really nice job, so.
So you do a lot of those events for Boys and
We
Girls Club?
do,
Yeah.
we do, and, you know, we try to get out, especially in you know, there are segments in the community like the Boys and Girls Club that we really appreciate, and we try to, you know, encourage our people to go over there, and they always do. They put on a nice, happy face, and so I think the kids appreciate it too. So.
I'm sorry, this is a related question. So if, for example, you have a crew that's helping set up for an event and there is a fire alarm call, how does that work? How do you respond?
Well, sometimes what we'll do is that crew will be marked busy, but if the call is an urgent of nature, so sometimes fire alarms or general fire alarm, for instance, is not something that is considered, you know, necessarily an emergency, although it might be at the place. People are going to consider that. But if it's a structure fire or an EMS call, those people are absolutely going to leave the event and go do what they need to do. Yeah. And we've had that in the past, and I've been involved in that during my career as well, where you go back after your call and you still help out.
Yeah.
So. This one here is, it looks like from Jenny Meyerson, July 10th, to the Bloomington Fire Department. Thank you for announcing the return of the Disciple Riders on Sunday afternoon as they approach their final goal, the courthouse square. Your blaring fire truck horns were a terrific sound accompaniment to the applause and cheering of families and friends. This group of 30 teenagers accomplished an amazing feat, biking 1,600 miles over 3 weeks, starting in Key West, Florida. Thank you for helping us give them a rousing welcome home and such a special way to recognize their great accomplishment. Yeah. I think that our horns are, you know, rather maybe they're loud, but I'm not sure about blaring. You know? They will get your attention, though, right? So general business, we have 3 out on light duty. We interviewed for our mobile integrated healthcare workers. We interviewed, I believe, 4, and we narrowed it down to 2. So we're going to call them community care coordinators. In those interviews, we actually had Melissa Stone from Bloomington Police Department, along with myself and Jason Moore, the fire chief. And we are really, really excited about the 2 that we think are going to do a really nice job. Go ahead.
Interrupt you. I'm sorry. Can we add those community care to our packets when you come, like just the data that they're doing?
Yes.
All the things.
And one of the things that one of the candidates brings is a whole lot of experience in social work.
Okay.
They're also an EMT, and they also do a lot of data collection, which we're really excited about. Chief Moore and myself on Friday attended the State EMS Commission, and they're really excited about what we're trying to do here in Bloomington as well. So we do have in the budget for next year another 2 positions for that. We hope to grow it, and we think it's going to be a really special opportunity for us to engage in the community and really try to find, and there's a lot of niches but basically fill some gaps that we feel like are exposed in maybe the healthcare system and the social system.
So even if it's 0 next month, I still would like to see it on here.
Yes,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Yeah, because it's going to be one of the things we're going to have to report to the state as well, and also we'll be collaborating with Indiana University Health Care Systems.
Nice.
So we're real excited about it. We also had I sent 9 certified candidates for physicals the past week, and we hope to have those results here very, very soon. So I will probably be speaking to you very soon about your signatures and that sort of thing for the.
From the funnel that we spoke about last month.
Yes.
It was 13 at that signature.
Yeah. And so we've narrowed it down. We have we possibly have a 10th. That person is been not deployed, but they're on active duty They're in Army Ranger School at this point. So we hope to get that person onboarded probably somewhere in October. So we hope to have a recruit academy really about the beginning of October, because we're down, I think, 12 firefighters as well. So this is really going to help us out. And I was talking to Chief Diefkoff and Chief Oldham, and you know, from our standpoint, with a morale standpoint too, that, you know, when you're having 6 or 7 overtimes every day, people are working a lot, and you really don't want one's morale, but the other is there's potential safety issues when people get tired, you know, from working. We all get tired from working sometimes, but they are literally fatigued, and so we're hoping here for maybe the first time in my 8 years being fully staffed, possibly by the end of the year. So yeah, exactly. So, and that's all I have for general business.
I had a question for.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just thought you were going. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. I had a question, 2 questions. One about the IU-based fire station. Can you give any update on that?
So you talked about possibly a new build, or is that what you're talking about? Right now, there's a lot of discussions going on with the city administration. We're hopeful that you know, may happen in the years to come, but nothing's been solidified at this point.
Okay, so it's not.
We're still in talks with Indiana University.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the new headquarters.
And the new headquarters were very much the same. We've had some really nice discussions with city administration. We're waiting for a couple reports to come back on the old station, the headquarters station. We're looking at some engineering models for flooding, and right now what we see is we have some really good news about that possibility. So they've ran modeling through that, and we feel pretty comfortable. But the other thing that we're looking at is what it would cost to renovate that versus what it would cost to build, and just trying to make a good decision for the community and the right decision for response packages and overall operations. So.
Is that being evaluated by the planning department internally, or are there external groups involved in that?
My understanding is it's a little bit of both. So it's what we have is we have some stakeholders that are looking at that, but we have the planning department, and I believe city utilities, Vic Helson, they've been running modeling over there as well, and we're feeling really comfortable with what the results have come back. They've come back really positive. So
We'll stay tuned.
yeah.
And I had a question about, is there, well, I guess that'd be personnel. Never mind, I'll hold this question.
Okay. And I think purchases. So you'll see one purchase, I believe, that we had, I think is about $33,000. We finally were able to get our electric car, our Chevy Volt, in that we ordered last July. So I think we have potential build dates for an F-150 and an SUV that will be operational vehicles sometime in September. But we're really excited. It's a fantastic looking vehicle, and we're going to possibly use it for our community care coordinators and brand it. So and that's all I have. Personnel, I don't have any personnel issues that I have.
So no updates about Dion? Was it Dion?
Oh, I'm sorry, I do have that. The one, so I don't want to speak necessarily over myself, but we have, there is an offer on the table that he has, if he completes his EMT, then we will, right now, we're going to have a spot.
Okay.
So we're real hopeful that he'll pass his EMT exam.
Wasn't he taking his EMT like the night we last saw him last month?
Yeah, and then unfortunately he did not pass that.
Okay. So I know that you can't share too much, but I probably should never ask that question, but thank you for sharing what you can.
We do have we have sent Dion a letter and explaining our position that if he's able to pass that and we have an open spot, then we're going to be able to hopefully, hopefully rehire him. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you know when he's taking it again?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That was the only question.
I don't think we have any old business? Anything new? No? And petitions and communications.
I maybe have a question for Chris, though, which is relevant to old business. So the conversation about the TASER program, the way that it all started, we spoke about it here, and then we said we were going to speak about it again, and then the email today saying send it by email. I guess the question that I have is, do we have any, does it matter what we have to say about the TASER program other than, you know, generally?
That's going to be a policy decision made by the chief
Right,
and the
okay.
administration, so
No.
you wouldn't have a role to play in deciding whether they're going to be instituting that program.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I guess for clarification, it's not that it's not going to be discussed. It's just that he wants to meet with us first.
Right.
So he have you, not that you have to answer this, but he's requested to meet with the board so we can share our concerns, thoughts, whatever.
Good, okay.
And so it's important for us to share those thoughts and have that conversation.
Right.
For example, I know that I represent the NAACP,
Right.
not fully, but I'll gather those questions that they have and I'll present them and share.
Exactly, yeah. Okay. So we won't be able to share our views on it, albeit we don't have any
If
say.
you want to, you can do that.
But he welcomes
Yeah.
meeting with you individually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You can ask whatever question you want in a public forum. I mean,
Yeah.
this is your space.
Yeah.
You can ask
That's a good
questions.
question.
Yeah.
And then is there any, I think maybe just for the benefit of us as a collective board, is there any reason why we might want to, I mean, would you all like to see my concerns? Or are you happy for me to say, I mean, because I know that Maquiba sent them individually to the chief both previously, and then Captain Pedigo responded, right? And I know I asked questions openly last time, but do we want to, I mean, is there any reason why you would any of you like to see the concerns that I have, or should I just send them to him individually and meet with them individually?
So you're always welcome to discuss whatever your concerns might be with Chief Dekoff.
Okay.
And that's fine, but if you'd like to share your concerns
We should do
with the
this in
board,
this
you'll do that
public-
in
in
this
the public
public
forum.
forum.
Okay.
Yes,
And I want to
absolutely.
clarify, because we're on record, that it wasn't just Maquiba's
Right.
responses.
That's
it was
right,
the
that's
groups
correct.
that I represent that
Exactly
I shared.
Right. Exactly right, yes.
And I shared to Chief what was shared with
Yes,
me.
yes, thank you.
To
for
then
clarifying.
ask him those
Thank
questions
you for clarifying, yes.
to then distribute all
Right.
of the responses.
Precisely.
I want to make sure it was recorded.
Yes, thank you for clarifying.
Do any of you remember the timeline for that program, for the
No,
use
yeah,
of TASER?
I'd hoped we would talk a bit more about it today, but, you know, given the
We
circumstances,
can ask
wasn't my.
to add it to the agenda next
You
meeting.
can always add that to the agenda if you'd like. Yes.
Yeah. So would you like to do that?
Yeah,
Add it to
I'm
next-
also happy to do it on, you know, via email, I mean, and see if those responses are not adequate, you know, seeing that we do not have any authority over the issue, right? I mean, we can't
Yeah,
make any
right.
decision, right? It's just for, you know, and I don't know if the public would be interested in knowing that there, you know, are people with concerns about,
Yeah.
you know, the
Yeah.
implementation of a TASER trial or whatever. But, yeah, so that's just
Yeah,
for sort of
and
the
he
good of the order.
understands that we get questions from the public.
Precisely,
so
precisely,
it's-
and I think you know, it was frustrating because last time the way that it sort of happened, we didn't get a chance to also express to him that, like, I get it, you didn't have to tell us this, right? You know, but you are telling us this, so this is what we think, right? You know, yeah, so just so that doesn't become something that sort of just disappears.
Well, would you like to
If the
add
board
it
wishes, I'll go ahead and add it.
to the agenda
We'll
next
make sure
meeting?
to have it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Sounds like it warrants it. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
you-
and
Can I ask a quick question? What was the date of the start of the pilot? Did
There
we
was
have
no
that in
start
our?
date.
That's what I was asking. I don't know. I'm
There
not
was
sure.
no start date.
I'm not sure that it was identified.
Because if I'm remembering correctly, there's no start date because there was discussion that everyone still had input, so therefore they didn't start it yet.
Okay, we'll add it to the agenda for September. And I think you didn't certify payroll, did you?
No,
Okay, so,
yes, I certify. It's accurate.
Thanks.
all right.
I would like to add just something about fire, really quickly. I saw the incident, on, social media about something happened at Two Sticks Bakery this week. And just so many, also, good comments and very kind words about the fire department's quick response there, mitigating any really serious, damage to Two Sticks. So I know people were concerned and, but very complimentary, so thank you.
Yeah, our people I know they'll appreciate that, and they're really great at what they do. So.
Thank you for bringing that up. Petitions and Communications. Do we have anyone who would like to speak? We have 3 minutes per person.
There's no other public
No?
members.
Okay. I see some people, oh, is that us? Okay.
Yes, that's you. See you.
I didn't recognize one of those squares. Okay, all right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned. Thank you.